Yo, what up? How you guys doing out there today? This is your boy Roto Beast. I'm here with my boy Jeremy, aka DFS Dudes, and we're from www.dfscheatsheet.com. Go check out the website if you haven't. Hey, we're here to give you our Week 3 NFL running back picks. If you're new to this channel, please make sure to click the subscribe button below. This week, and watch all our MLB, NBA, NFL videos. If you haven't already, like I said, go check out the website at dfscheatsheet.com. Hey, how you doing out there, Jeremy?
What's up, man? We're getting closer to Sunday. Hope everybody out there is excited about this week in DFS. I like the way that the week shapes up. I think it's a really solid slate with a lot of good plays out there. So let's break into them.
Yeah, real quick, though, before we do jump into this video, two things. First thing, if you don't mind, please take that quick second. Click the like button for me down below. Helps me out. Really appreciate that. Also, hey, go check out our NFL Week 3 contest that we do have on FanDuel. It's easy to get to. It's FanDuel.com/DFS cheat sheet. And we've been running these every week to start the NFL season, and they've been filling up, having great success. I mean, first place, you get $125 and a year membership to our website at dfscheatsheet.com for only $5. It's a really, really good tournament, so go check that out if you haven't already got into it. And yeah, let's go. So, hey, I'm going to start it off. I mean, I think the guy's going to be a clear-cut chalk play at running back. It's going to be Todd Gurley. The price is way up there. He's $9,300, but so people are going to figure out ways to get him in their lineup, and I think I'm going to figure out a way to get him in my lineup as well. The guy is leading the league with 39 rushing attempts through 2 weeks, and last week he only pretty much played a half of football. Out of those 39 attempts, he has 15 red zone carries. Yes, 15 red zone carries. That's crazy. He's getting the ball every time they're in the red zone. He has 3 touchdowns to show for it in 2 weeks. The guys is out of everybody in the league, he has the 3rd highest usage overall. Combining his rushing attempts and his receiving targets that he's getting. The Chargers are the 25th rated defense in the league. I definitely think the guy's a safe cash game play this week. And like I mentioned, he pretty much got 30.8 fantasy points last week on FanDuel and pretty much a half. So, I mean, he would have had 50 fantasy points if they would have played him the same way they played him the first half. It was crazy. It was good, though. They did decide to give their workhorse a little bit of a break. So that's my first play is going to be Todd Gurley.
Yeah, man, I like Gurley. And, like you said, a monster half last week, right? Basically just playing one half of football. The price is up there at $9,300. The thing that's scary is the way the Rams are moving the ball. And then you look, 15 attempts, 52 yards, and 3 touchdowns in the red zone. I mean, is there another team? I can't really think of another team maybe outside of Washington, just looking statistically, that's going to tell you we're going to hand a certain guy the football when we get in the red zone. The Cowboys with Elliott and then Adrian Peterson so far this season. For me, in that game with the over-under, the thing I look at is for all the carries Gurley's had, he's only had 8 targets in the passing game. He's only had 6 catches. But of those 6 catches, he's at 70 yards and a touchdown on 6 catches. So if the game goes off, it goes over under. Gurley has not had that one game this year where he's had, 5, 6, 7 catches, had a rushing touchdown, maybe he gets 2 rushing touchdowns and a receiving touchdown in a game flow like this. I don't know if I believe San Diego is going to keep it close. But even if they don't, Gurley's still going to get his touches. He's leading the league in attempts. So, that right there just pretty much tells you he's going to get his touches. So,
right. And the first 2 weeks, also really quick, the first 2 weeks, I mean, they were pretty much easy games for the Rams. It is what it is. I think this week they're actually going to get a little bit of competition against the Chargers. And I think the game could be a little bit closer than the first 2 weeks for the Rams as well. So who you got with us to start us off at running back for GPP?
One other thing I'll say about Gurley, he hasn't played a full game of football yet. They didn't really use him week 1 in the first half against the Raiders. They used him in the second half, and then we know what happened last week in the first half. So the upside's there. Right. The first guy I'm going to go with is Ezekiel Elliott. I just think it's time. I don't think Seattle's a very good football team. $8,200. He's 5th in attempts with 32. And in comparison, first to fifth, Gurley leading the league with 39 attempts, and then you got Zeke with 32. As far as red zone goes, he has the second most red zone yards. He's fifth in attempts, so Gurley's got 15. Zeke has 6 attempts, 22 yards, and 2 touchdowns in the red zone. 40 total touches so far this season, averaging 20 touches a game. $8,200 is a guy that we've paid over $9,000 before for him previously in years past. I just think the touches, the team he's going against for a tournament pick, a guy who's off the radar because there's other guys who will be sexier picks, I guess, if you will. You've got Alvin Kamara. You've got, obviously, Todd Gurley, Melvin Gordon in that game. There's other guys I think that are going to be a little bit sexier. And I just think at $8,200 for a guy who's a clear-cut running back, that's what he is. He's not a pass catcher who they line up in the backfield in a high-powered passing offense. Limited weapons. Seattle is living off reputation. Their defense is a shell of the Legion of Boom. They are not the Legion of Boom anymore. I just think when you go on the road from a football standpoint in a hostile environment, one thing you try to do is establish the run and take the crowd out of it, move the chains. And I think that they've got the perfect guy to do that in Ezekiel Elliott.
Yeah, no, I definitely like the Elliott pick. I mean, we were on him last week, coming off the week 1 dud, and he did good for us last week in our GPPs. I definitely think Elliott's a really good play. So for me, I'm going to move on to my second cash game running back that I'm really going to be looking at. It's going to be Giovanni Bernard, $6,400 on FanDuel. Very good price tag. We got no Mixon for a couple weeks. In Mixon, he's averaging, 19 carries, 4 targets. That's pretty much what his average is going back to last season. So somebody's going to have to pick those up. And I'm not going to say Gio's going to get all of them, but he's definitely going to get a lot of that work. Last season, he started a couple games when Mixon was out, and he had really, really good success. He's also, he gives you a solid floor because he does catch a bunch of passes. He's a really good pass catcher as well. He's going to be the lead back, like I said, for the next couple weeks. I definitely think this is a great spot for Gio Bernard. Next week, his price is going to be way more than $6,400. That's for sure. He's just too cheap right now. It's a good opportunity for him. Panthers defense, they've been good the past couple years, but they haven't been good so far this year, especially against running backs. Last week, they allowed Coleman 16 carries for 107 yards, 4 catches for 18 yards. And Coleman's actually the backup running back for Atlanta. He's pretty much the exact same thing that we're going with in Bernard this week. The backup running back difference is Bernard can catch the ball a little bit more. And lastly, week 1 when Elliott was actually running, at Carolina Panthers, they did give up 4.5 yards per carry as well. So yeah, I definitely think Gio Bernard's a really good cash game play this week for the Bengals.
I like Bernard. I was hoping that the questionable tag would stay on him a little longer and maybe drop his ownership. But now, it was removed today. He was a full participant in practice. It was like so, I think that's a good indicator that if they kind of gave him the day off Wednesday, they're loading him up for a full workload this weekend. I like the pick. I'm going to move on. My next pick I'm going to give you is Kareem Hunt. I just like this game a lot. I'm going to have a lot of exposure to the 49ers and Chiefs game. When you just look at things on the surface, sometimes they don't look like what's the saying? Perception is not always reality. And I think the perception has been that you see Patrick Mahomes, 10 touchdown passes in 2 games. You see that Hunt has not scored a rushing touchdown yet. He hasn't had a huge rushing total yet this year, but he still has 34 attempts in the first 2 weeks. Last week, he had 18 carries for 75 yards. He's still their number 1 running back. It's a game that has a really high over-under. If for some reason, they get a 2-touchdown lead in this game, they're not going to continue to throw the ball. They've got a workhorse in Kareem Hunt they can hand the ball off to. Kareem Hunt has demonstrated in the past he can catch the ball out of the backfield. He can get involved in the screen game. I just think, 124 yards rushing in 2 games is not anything that you're just overwhelmed by. But for me, with all the hype around their passing game and Mahomes, a game that's a high over-under, $7,900 for Kareem Hunt seems like a really good deal for a really explosive player in a game that's got a very high over-under and a guy that will probably go completely overlooked because of the fact all the attention is on the Chiefs passing game.
Yeah, no, I definitely like Hunt this week. He's going to be low owned, and he's due. He's due for the monster 2-touchdown game. Like you said, they have the highest implied total on the slate this week. So I definitely think that Hunt is a really, really good GPP play for sure. So I'm going to move on to my third and final cash game running back for the week. It's going to be Corey Clement for the Eagles. There's not going to be any Jay Ajayi. There's not going to be any Darren Sproles. The only other guy really standing his way is Smallwood, but he did out-snap Smallwood last week, 33 to 24 carries after Ajayi got hurt. I like the guy. Last week, like I said, he didn't get as much work as we would have liked, but he got 6 carries, 6 catches. 6 carries and 6 targets, totaled 85 yards in a touchdown, equaled about 17 fantasy points. I would definitely take 17 fantasy points again this week for Corey Clement. I think he's like 5,800, so a very good price tag. Like I said, I'm saying, 17 fantasy points. He has upside for 25 fantasy points. He only got 6 carries last week. I think this week he's going to get at least 15 carries, the usual probably 6 to 8 targets like he got last week. So I definitely think that Clement is in for a bigger week this week for sure. Eagles, they're very high on the guy. I definitely think Clement's a really good cash game play.
Ajayi had 3 red zone touchdowns, right? And so that, like you said on yesterday's video, they don't have Sproles, they don't have Ajayi. So somebody's, red zone carries are going to be huge. Philadelphia does move the football. This is the Super Bowl, defending Super Bowl champion. They're going to move the ball. They're going to score points. So I like him just for the fact that he has the opportunity to get red zone carries, and then everything else he brings to the table around that being, he can catch the football, etc. He's going to be chalk, clear-cut chalk, right there next to Bernard. It's just it's one of those situations where you've got an injury, next guy's up, it's value, plug the guy in. So I definitely like him.
Free square, move on.
So that brings me to my third pick at running back, and I'm going to go with Saquon Barkley. Period, point blank, end of story. The reason I'm plugging Barkley in is touches. Just period, point blank, end of story. He's got 29 carries and 16 receptions in 2 games, 55 total touches. I know that last week it looks like it's inflated if you look at his from a target standpoint. 16 targets last week. He only had 6 targets in week 1. But that's 22 targets in 2 games. I know it's a small sample size, but if you looked and saw the offensive line in the Dallas game, they're on national TV. Everybody exposed they couldn't pick up a blitz. I guarantee you the NFL is a copycat league, and teams are going to line up and come at them and make them pick up blitzes. They're going to check. Eli Manning's got to continue to check the ball down. Barkley's a huge weapon. He's a huge weapon. Until they can throw the ball down the field and back the defense out of the box and stop the blitzes from coming, Saquon Barkley's going to continue to catch the football out of the backfield. Not just catching the football, though. From a rushing standpoint, right? He's got 29 carries already. 29 carries, 18 week 1. He only had 11 last week, but they're playing from behind. And when he only gets 11 carries, he got 16 targets. $8,000 price point. You're paying for touches. If I told you there's a wide receiver out there that was $8,000 this week who was going to get 11 targets and 11 carries, 22 touches, you would jump at the opportunity to pay $8,000 for that wide receiver, because we're looking at Antonio Brown or DeAndre Hopkins, these guys who are getting 16 targets a game. We're paying $9,000 for those guys. So just from a touches standpoint, it's like $1,000 discount, and touches equal opportunity in NFL. Period, point blank, end of story. For me, I think he fits really well. A lot of the lineups that I've built so far this week, I have him as my flex. I think he fits really well as your flex option. He's a really good flex option because there's a couple of guys like Christian McCaffrey that you can rotate in your lineups and keep, just flop Barkley out, rotate McCaffrey in. They're kind of the same running back. McCaffrey just doesn't have the amount of touches so far. And he doesn't have the carry upside either. Saquon Barkley's a running back. Eventually, he could have a 20 carry, 10 target game easily.
Right. No, for sure. I would definitely agree. So that's it.
That's my pick. Just to wrap it up, Elliott 8,200, Kareem Hunt 7,900, Saquon Barkley 8,000. All 3 of those guys are right in the same price range. They all interchange perfectly. You You want me to give a bonus GPP lineup out? You want to give these guys a bonus GPP with one we built, or you want to save that for tomorrow's build?
Yeah, we'll probably save that for tomorrow. We can do like an episode of like a ultimate GPP lineup or something that we can do. We can definitely do something like that. Probably Saturday morning, I would say. Kind of get them something looking.
We got our player pool build video to do too, so we'll be on the lookout for that one.
Right. Yeah. So we definitely got a couple more videos coming up for the week to get you prepared for NFL Sunday this week. If you haven't already, please make sure and click that subscribe button. Please make sure that you click that like button for us and have those notifications turned on. This way you don't miss any of our videos that we're posting. And real quick, just to wrap up my 3 wide receiver cash game plays that I'm looking at this week. We're going to look at Gurley 9,300. We're going to look at Giovanni Bernard at a 6,400 price tag, and we're going to look at Corey Clement at a 5,800 price tag. And yeah, I mean, that's kind of where we're at with our running backs for this week. Make sure, like I said, that you got those notifications turned on so you don't miss our next video. And hey, go check out www.dfscheatsheet.com. We have a complete optimizer, tons of content to help you compete with the pros day in and day out. So, hey, check it out. We got a free 7-day trial. Make sure and go get in our FanDuel Week 3 DFS cheat sheet contest. And, hey, let's get some money. Peace out.